Hello and welcome back to the Garian Tabletop and the Solland Uprising Mighty Empires campaign. I am Garian Reaver. This time we have the third and final battle of the second round of the campaign. If you haven't seen the other two battles or the campaign turn, go check those out. The campaign turn is linked in the description. This one is the Empire, represented by Averland, versus the combined forces of Clan Deathtoll and Sylvania. They are both contributed units to this force. There are special rules around that which I'll come back to in just a moment. This is actually the Empire's second battle of the campaign turn. They previously fought against the Skull Smashers, you could go check that out, and the combined results of that one and this one will determine how they do in this campaign turn. This army is led by General Sigmar Braum of Averland. He is supported by two battle wizards, the Light Wizard Arnold Pfeiffer and the Metal Wizard Erwin Rieger on his horse. Here is the rest of the force. It is Averland staples, that is to say swordsmen and spearmen. And believe it or not, there is a unit of the Knights of the Blazing Sun. They don't just fight for Solland, they also fight for Averland, because, as they see it, they're not enemies. A unit of flagellants, a cannon, and some pistoliers. I'm going to give them a go, see if they do better this time. And here are their opponents. Although this is a 2,000 point match, I believe it was the Skaven put in enough gold to up it to 2,100. And this is a team battle. Both Clan Deathtoll and Sylvania are working together, and for all intents and purposes they are allies. The way this affects things is there are two generals, but only units of their faction benefit from their general. Same with the Battle Standard Bearer, although there is only one of those. Any rules that state friendly units refer to the other faction in their army, but otherwise they function as one army. From Clan Deathtoll, the only character is Bilefroth, returning again, but this time aboard a Plague Furnace, one of my favourite Skaven models. And for the vampire counts, we have two characters shoved into this single unit. We have Demir von Karstein, who is a vampire turned by Manfred himself, and sent as a very distinct example of Manfred's contribution. And wherever Demir goes, Squire follows. He is a White Lord, and they are both mounted. Here is the rest of the army. An absolutely massive unit of Plague Monks supporting the Plague Furnace, Plague Claw Catapult, Poison Wind Mortar with some Storm Vermin, a couple of units of Skaven Slaves because they're useful. The split I did of the points, it could be any split whatsoever. I went for 1,400 of Skaven, 700 of Vampires. So they have a single unit of Black Knights. It is a big unit, it's also got both the characters in it. Basically it is going to hit like a rocket. And the battlefield is Averland, which is mostly sort of open. There is a big tree, a couple of hills, some fences, a little building, and some woods. But let's see who goes first, or who picks a side first, rather. Blue is vampires and Sylvania. Sorry, Sylvania are the vampires. Blue is the Dark Alliance. Nope, stop rolling fours. Okay, good. Red. So red would like to, I think, have this side, actually. Because, oh no, this got the hill. No, actually, they will have that side and they will take the hill, which is conveniently the side that they're on. And also, I forgot to mention this, but the general is on a Pegasus. Now that we have the board edges, we'll see who deploys first. Again, red being the Empire, and it's a draw again. Come on, guys. And it's a draw again. This doesn't bode for the battle. There we go, blue. So that is the Forces of Darkness. But before we deploy, let's do these spells. So, as I mentioned in the first round, I have completely customized, or largely customized, the Lore of Plague to bring it up into line with 8th edition rules. First spell is, ignore what it actually says on it, it is Vermintide, which creates rats, I think. I think I'll keep that, that could be useful. And his second spell is Wither. Wither is one of my favourite spells, so we will be going with that one, and we will not be taking the signature spell. Demir is a spellcaster in the broadest sense of the term, but he does still get a single spell. I think I'm going to go with Invocation of Nehek rather than Raised Dead. Raised Dead could be useful, but he's going to be too focused on combat. A thing to heal would probably be better. Arnold is a second level Wizard of Light, so Let's see, speed of light, augment, weapon skill and initiative. That could actually be incredibly useful against Demir. So I will take that one. And the second one, Far's protection. Yeah, let's have Arnold as a purely supportive caster, which means we're not going to be using the exorcism law attribute, but that's okay. And then Evan is a metal wizard. See a lot of those, don't we? Plague of Rust. I'm not sure that is of any use in this because they're Skaven. Oh, then again, the Storm Vermin. No, not useful enough, so I will... Oh, Searing Doom is the alternative, so I guess it's going to be Plague of Rust. So yes, the two wizards are going for... He's only a first level. The two wizards are going to be very non-direct combatants. Let's start with the absolutely massive block of Plague Monks, the Plague Furnace, and Bile Froth. They are going to go right there, with the aims to just go straight into cover and become completely unmovable. I think the Spearmen will go there to face them, and they have the crossbows as their detachment. And I think I'll put them there. What's the distance? Yeah, I'll put them there. Something that I learned from the last battle, based on some helpful comments, is I should leave more lanes of fire between them, so that I can get shots off rather than just end up with all of my range guys stuck behind everything else. Let's have a big block of Skaven slaves here. They are going to protect that flank, because that is the one without a fence on that side as well. I think the swordsmen are going to come over here, and their handgunners are going to go beside them, aiming to get up onto that hill as soon as possible. Oh, they're going to be charged. They're going to be charged immediately. That is a bad place to put the handgunners. Yeah. Putting this block here has basically stopped the hill from being a useful firing position. I think next the Black Knights are going to have to come in and secure their position before Skaven slaves fill all the good charging points. Because they probably could have gone there and just charged straight into combat very, very early, but instead they're going to have to meander round there or round there, which... not to their liking, but hey, they didn't get in quick enough. Also, I like to imagine how Biofroth reacted when a single unit of knights came up as Manfred's contribution, in inverted commas. So how these two factions get on after this will depend entirely on how well this unit does. It's worth a third of their points. Seeing those knights, I think the Knights of the Blazing Sun are going to try and counter them. Although I don't really rate their chances very highly. Black Knights are tough. Actually, changed my mind. I'm moving them further over here. I have another thing in mind. Let's get the Storm Vermin right here with their attached unit, which is going to go behind because it doesn't need to have a direct line of sight to fire. And the other idea I had was the Flagellants. They are unbreakable, so they are the perfect anvil for the Knights to crash against before the Knights of the Blazing Sun crash against them. And then the rest of the Skaven slaves, I guess, there, just to fill out the line, and hopefully, yeah, if they can, like, jump in the way, that'd be useful. Also, I've just realised these aren't going to make an amazing block. Like, I was planning on sitting them here and just leaving them there as a massive anvil in the middle of the board, but they have Frenzy. So they're going to, yeah, they're going to go charging out of cover. The Pistoliers, I think I'll put all the way on this flank, leaving the room there for the cannon. And the final Skaven unit is the Plagueclaw Catapult. And the thing with these, the reason it's... like, I love the A-frame that these things have. And the reason they are generally built like this is because in Warhammer, the line of sight is judged from... well, it's judged from, like, the barrel of the gun. Or in this case, like, I guess the front tip of this. So this can actually see directly over the Skaven, and it can fire safely from behind the front lines. Which is why it's very unfortunate that almost all of the Empire artillery is so low down. Nonetheless, the cannon's going to go there. It's going to... let's see, if I put it there instead. It can fire across there, and we'll try and move up onto the hill. They're all done, so we still have the characters. So Braum can fly, so he's going to go somewhere nice and central and also in cover. Evan, he is the Plague of Rust, so he needs to go near where these guys are, so I will put him... I'll put him there. Whereas Arnold, he's going to be trying to protect these units here. With the deployment done, we now rolled see who gets the first turn, with the Allied forces getting +1 for having deployed first. But either way, the Empire wins. So the Empire is going to go first. And I've just realised they weren't supposed to go there. They were supposed to go up here onto that hill. Whoops. Sorry, I got hill blind. I saw a hill, and it's like, well, clearly that's the hill I intended. Oh, no. Am I allowed to move that? I'm going to say I am. Because, hey, my opponent is very friendly and understanding and knows that I clearly didn't mean to put that there. I even think I called that out earlier. So, yes, he's going to be nice and let me move that. Which means the Pistoliers would not have been so far over. They would have been there instead. Oh, yes, and the Pistoliers have Vanguard, which means they get to make a free movement. So they're going to move 12, because they get to move up to 12, onto that hill, and they're going to be out of range, aren't they? Yes, they're out of range. Oh well. Empire first turn. Let's start with the Spearmen. They're going to march to get as far forward as possible to try and secure this barrier, and the Swordsmen are going to do the exact same. Flagellants are moving forward and marching as well to hopefully get some to bait a charge or so. And the Knights, oh, they do have to be aware of that fence, so actually they're not going to move that far, they're going to move 6 instead. Oh, God. And the Knights, what have I done? The Knights are going to move up a little bit to there and then rotate, ready to go crashing through this gap. The cannon is going to move 4 inches, which means it's not going to be able to fire. No, it's just going to move as little as it can in order to get up onto the hill. Why place myself even closer to the enemy than I need to be? Heaven is going to move forward to there, but stay roughly out of sight. Arnold is going to move 4 up as well. They're all out of range, so let's have Sigmar move over here. He can just fly over there, so he's just sat behind them. Freeing up the movement for these guys to move up to there, which gives them pretty good line across all of here. Handgunners are also going to move up, but they are actually blocked by Arnold. So he's going to have to... They wouldn't be able to fire this turn anyway, but in subsequent turns Arnold's going to have to make sure he isn't in the firing line. Magic! Wow. Okay. Also, it is worth noting that both both parts of this army share the same magic pool. So Dispel and Power Dice, they're going to have to choose between them who uses them. It's probably going to be Balfroth. Channeling the 2 Empire Wizards. Channeling the 2 Dark Wizards. No. Just realised there is a big impassable tree in the way. Because with this, I'm not treating this as a section of woods, because it's literally just a single tree. So I wouldn't have deployed them there. You know, I already gave the other side the benefit of the doubt with the hill thing, so this seems fair to account for that. I have just realised that Far's protection is utterly useless right now, because it specifically calls out shooting attacks that don't use ballistic skill, but it doesn't mention templates, which is what the Plague Claw and the Poison Wind Mortar use. So that'll only help in melee. That's unfortunate as well. Erwin is out of range to use Plague of Rust. So a range of 24. What about an upcast? Oh yeah, can upcast on a 10, so he will do that. He will... can he see them? I think he can. Yeah, I'd say you can see that unit. He's on a horse. So he's going to try and upcast Plague of Rust on a 10 with his 3 dice. Manages it. 13, 15. 15 with the wizard level added. 14 with the wizard level. He's only a first level wizard. Balfroth will try and dispel with 2 and fail. So Plague of Rust passes. So everything in the Black Knight's unit has -1 armor for the rest of the game. That's a pretty good opening move. But that is all for the magic, and I think with all the movement, we're not going to get much shooting, if any, because Pistoliers, they only have a range of 12, so they are also out of range. So that is the end of the Empire first turn into the combined first turn. Awkwardly, they are technically within charging range because they have a movement of 5, so 17 inches is their maximum charging range. I guess I'm going to be trying to resist the frenzy, which means passing a leadership test. Because of strength in numbers, his leadership is 6 plus the rank bonus, which is up to 3, so a 9. Easily passes it. They are not affected by frenzy. The Black Knights could also charge on an 11, but that would be silly because that's a very low chance. Apologies, my computer is being particularly noisy today. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but I do apologise about that. Plague Monks are moving forward, and they push the Plague Furnace with them, as long as there are at least, I think it's at least 10 models in the unit, and they are, are they within, I think they might be within 8 now. No, they are not within 8 inches of any enemies, so they can march without needing to test. So they are going to march another 5 inches up to there. So they are very, very nearly, actually they go a bit further this way, so they're against that side. They're very, very nearly in their impenetrable position. Skaven Slaves are moving up 5. And they will then march, meaning that, what's that, 6 of them? Yeah, 6 of them have to take dangerous terrain, but hey, they're Skaven Slaves, who cares? 2 die, but oh well. First casualties of the game are Skaven Slaves tripping over on roots. So they are moving up to there. They are covering that flank. They're providing another charge target, and are also impinging on the Pistoliers, who are now getting into... the Pistoliers are now within easy range, but if they're shooting at the Skaven Slaves are doing their job. Storm Vermin are moving up as well. They are mostly there to cover the flank, and the Poison Wind Mortar is following because it needs to stay within 3 inches to make use of the unit. Slaves are moving up this side, and they are going to march as well because they are going to harass the cannon as soon as they possibly can. And then the Knights are going to move up a little. So they are staying level with the Storm Vermin because they intend to get the charge off. Maybe an inch further. Okay. So they are very, very likely to get the charge next turn, but it's also unlikely that they will be countercharged in the meantime. I need to play strategically. And the Plague Claw is not going to move because I'm fairly sure that is within range. Yeah, very easily. It's up to 60 inches, so they can actually fire. They could shoot something over here if they wanted to. Magic. Ooh, much higher. Channeling the Empire. Nope. Channeling the Dark Order. Dark Order? What? Dark Forces. Nope. With no casualties yet, all of the spellcasting is over to Bilefroth. So he is going to start with a Wither. Wither. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, I think he's just going to try and wither the swordsman on an 11. 5 dice for it. Oh, nice. 21. That is going to be hard to dispel. But I think they're going to put all 6 dice into it. Because although he is likely to cast Vermintide, Vermintide isn't as threatening if they have slightly higher toughness. So they're going to use all they can. And they get Irresistible Dispelling, which means gone. And next he's going to cast Vermintide on an 8. So he has 4 dice left. Ooh, yep, that passes, and there is no way to dispel it now. At whom does he wish to shoot the Rat Swarm? First I will see the distance, 4d6. 13 inches. That is a lot of rat swarming. I think he's going to place it there, and then go 13 inches directly through the swordsman. So that is hitting a massive number of swordsmen. Yep, that hit goes out the other side, or near enough. So that is all except the bottom, the front left. And, oh yeah, it hits that guy, so does it hit that one as well? Look at it directly down. No, it doesn't hit that guy, so it hits all apart from these two and that guy. All but 3 spearmen are getting ratted, and then it disappears. And you'll be pleased to know I carefully counted how many there should be and how many there are. So this is a unit of 40, which means 37 of them are hit by rats. That said, I will allow a lookout, sir, for the champion, which means I roll a d6, and on a 1, the champion is hit, but on anything else... Okay, champion's hit. Lookout, sir! Rats! Oh yeah, there are... Ah! It's only a strength 2 hit, so it's wounding on a 5, but 37 rolls, this is going to hurt them. 3. 7 more, 10. 13 total. They do get an armor save, but any who fail this are dead, so 9 deaths as a swarm of rats bursts forth and just takes out, very nearly, just short of a quarter, so literally one more person and they'd be testing for panic right now. Not a bad way to get their first kills of the game. I really love the Lore of Plague. It's just the spells in it are so evocative and just so fun to use. Shooting, and there's the Poison Wind Mortar and the Plague Claw Catapult. I think I'm going to go for the Swordsman with the Plague Claw. This fires very similarly to a Stone Thrower, except it uses a large template. So right there. This, oh god, this could be so good. It could just blow a hole in the unit. Another hole in the unit. Sadly, because this is not the same phase as the magic, like even if it causes only 1 wound or something like that, it won't be enough to cause panic. But scatter. It moves that way 8 inches. Up here. Oh, right there. So that is, it lands directly, just a big glob of basically poisonous muck is what this thing shoots. I mean, that just looks like cheese, but poisonous cheese, rat cheese, lands in front of this fifer, Arnold, and also catches one of the spearmen. He is close enough to this unit to benefit from Lookout, sir, because you need to be within 3 inches. But because he isn't part of the unit, it only works on a 4+ rather than a 2+. So he... Nope, he is hit. Arnold takes a wound, no armor saves allowed. And the Spearman also takes a wound, no armor saves allowed. And due to the noxious effects of the Plague Claw Catapult, any unit that takes even a single casualty has to make a panic test. So both Arnold and the Spearman are both going to test for panic now. Arnold testing on a 7 just passes, whereas the Spearmen are within range of Sigmar, so they are testing on a 9. Sigmar, sorry. Not Sigmar. But they do pass as well. The Poison Wind Mortar has a range of 24 and doesn't allow armor saves, so he's actually going to go for the Knights. Normally it wouldn't be able to see them because of the unit in the way, but it can use their line of sight instead of its own, with the downside being it scatters double if it scatters. So he's going to aim it there to try and hit 6 of them, including the champion. Scatter. Nope, it is actually a misfire. That could be bad for them. They have a special misfire chart, and it is a 4, wildly off target, which means the opponent can place the template anywhere within 3d6 of the intended location. Oh no. Oh, that is a very, very long distance, 16 inches. I mean, yeah, it technically can hit there. Or it can hit them. Oh, that is one way to sour relationships within 16 inches. No, that's a bit far then. There? No. Can place it there so it does clip them, but I think it would be better to try and take out these Skaven slaves. So it's going to just slam right there into the middle of these Skaven slaves. So 1 dies on a 4+, 8 die on a 5+. 4+ survives, and 5 die of the rest. It's a unit of 40 Skaven slaves, so 5 of them is drop in the bucket. No combat, so we're into Empire turn 2. Spearmen are going to move up to defend the barrier. The swordsmen are also going to move up to the barrier, I think. Forward and across a little. And I can't quite make it if they go across. Alright, they're going to go as far as they can across while on the barrier. Like so. Arnold is going to move 4 inches this way, so he is not in line of fire. The Pistoliers are going to count on their ability to shoot apart some Skaven slaves and not move. Sigmar is going to fly over here, 10 inches. So he's staying just behind the battle line, but this is where the fighting is about to be fiercest. And that also frees up a bit of space for the Flagellants. Oh, actually, the Flagellants have Frenzy, I think. Yes, so I have to see if they're going to charge, actually, before I do anything else. Yeah. Charge at the nearest. 11.6. Yeah, so they might be charging the Plague Monks. Yeah, it's 11.2 to that one, and 11 to that one, so... Plague Monks, unless they can pass a leadership test, although Sigmar is right behind them, so on a 9, they pass. So they are not going to go charging off. They're going to withdraw 2 inches. Yes, that's right. If you want to kill my Flagellant, you'll have to charge a long way across open ground into easy charging range. Magic! 5. Channeling 2. Nope. Channeling 2. Nope. I think Arnold will upcast a Far's Protection, which would then affect all units within 12 inches, which is most of the battle line. Use all 5 dice to get a 12. Yeah, 19. 4 against it. Irresistible Dispelling. Wow. Haven't had those basically at all this campaign and get 2 in 2 turns. Oh, that was all the magic. Shooting. Pistoliers are going to be shooting at the Skaven slaves. They are wielding a brace of pistols, so they have 4 shots each, but they are very short range. How short range, you ask? They are not in short range. He is not in short range. He is. So these 3 are in short range, and the other 7 are in long range. Oh, the joys of shooting penalties. Although it normally hits on a 3 because of all the penalties, it's only on a 5 for the champion. But he does get 4 shots and 1 hit. Sorry, he should have been hitting on 4s, but that's still only 1 hit. Rest of the close rangers. Ooh, that's nice. 5 hits, 4 hits, 5 total. And the long range, 28 more shots. 3, 4 more, 12 total hits. Any of these can kill 10 kills, so they are going to trigger a panic test. They still get a +2. And they are within the general's range. They're testing on an 8, which they pass. Remarkable, really, that a load of Skaven slaves can be gunned down, but just because there are still loads of them left and the general's right there. I mean, that's Skaven in action. That's exactly how they're supposed to work. The handgunners are all going to go for the Plague Furnace itself. And they're doing that for a couple of reasons. One, it is where Balefroth is. There he is, like sat on the front. But also... because it is a large target, it doesn't benefit from the fence. If they went for the Plague Monks, they get an extra -1 to hit because they'd be going past the fence. But this is so large, they could just shoot it directly over. All 10 are within long range. 2 hits, and it's randomized whether they hit the Furnace or Balefroth. 1 to 5 is the Furnace, 6 is Balefroth. 2 on the Furnace. I forgot to make a billowing death attack. That was a shooting thing that he could do. Yeah, it's probably a bit late now. I can't remember where they were, and it's a template attack. Whoops. No wounds against the Furnace, though. But I reckon the crossbows are going to do the exact same. They're going to all shoot at the Furnace over the top of everything else. I mean, it's a bit iffy whether... because Braum is right there, but what they're shooting at is absolutely massive, and they can definitely see it over the top of him as well, even at this distance. All at long range. 3 hits. Oh, hang on. Sorry, I rolled to wound, so if all of them hit the Furnace, that's no wounds, but I need to roll to see whether any of them... No, all of them hit the Furnace. In that case, no wounds. The cannon. Where's the cannon going to fire? I mean, the slaves are right there, and they are sort of bearing down on it. But at the same time, there are Black Knights there, which are a much better target for a use of a cannon. Cannon is going to shoot there, which is... Yep, that's definitely past the fence as well. I mean, it's shooting over the fence easily, but Aiming there, and I need to roll an artillery to see the scatter, not scatter, how much I overshoot by. 10. So continuing this way, 10 inches puts it. Oh, right there. Yep, that fell off, so that definitely hit this knight. No two ways about that. I would normally roll to see how far it goes, but if it's, clipping the back of the unit, there's no point. Easy wound, and no save for that either. So that is one Black Knight removed. With no combat, we go into the Dark Forces' second turn. And right off the bat, we're going to have to declare a double charge, because I do want to hold this fence. I've got this massive close combat unit, and I've got to hit them both in order to hit either of them. So this is the only time in the game, the only way in the game you can actually declare a double charge. Like so. I'm trying to work out if the Skaven slaves can charge the pistoliers. If I rotate it, they hit. So no, I don't believe they can. Yeah, it has to move straight ahead. I just double checked, so it can't shimmy a bit and then charge. So I guess I'm going to have to charge the swordsman. Do I want to do that? Is that a good use of it? I don't actually think it is, because they're going to be very easy to kill and they're not going to contribute much to the fight. They're good for holding, but not in this situation when you've got the ultimate holder. They're more to cover flanks. These Skaven slaves are definitely going to charge the cannon, though. They need a 6, which they don't get. So they just move forward 5 inches. And although they are sort of charging out of this, as I mentioned before, I'm not counting it as woodland. It is just a single tree and a stump, I guess. I think I'm going to be daring here. I really want to get the Black Knights into combat, but this is such an obvious trap that I think they would really struggle with. They do a ton of damage to the flagellants. What's the distance of the flagellants? Come on. 15. Oh, that's a 7. That is doable? No, it's an 8, because of barding, which reduces movement by 1. But they definitely get countercharged unless they wiped out the flagellants, which they would really struggle to do because they're unbreakable. So I think I'm actually going to do something really sort of... They're not going to see it coming. I think I'm going to charge the spearman, because as I did in the last battle, it is a perfectly legal move that if you do make the charge distance, you can do a 90-degree turn, so they can just charge straight round into the side of the spearman and just basically annihilate this in a single turn. I'm very, very confident about that. And then they could overrun and get themselves out of the range of these guys while also taking out a massive part of the Empire force. This unit is specifically designed to crush on the charge. So I think that is my best bet. Can they see? That's the question. Because if they can see that one, or that one, either of those, they are within the minimum charge range. No, I would say that they... No, I'd say that they can't see either of those. He's the closest, which means they need to roll at least a 3 on the thing. So as long as they don't get a double 1 with Swift Stride... they got A1, but no, they made the charge. They are not going to see it coming. They're like, see, the Black Knights, they're gearing up to charge. Wait, where are they going? Where are they going? Oh, no. Like so. That is going to be devastating, I think. But they really need to wipe out the spearmen. If they don't wipe out the spearmen, then the flagellants are just going to charge them in the flank or rear. And the Blazing Knights are the same and wipe them out most likely in response. I'm going to move the Storm Vermin forward, largely as an alternate charge for the Knights. And these Skaven slaves, I'm thinking I will scoot them a little this way, 3 inches, because it's double movement if you move sideways, and then 2 inches forward like so. So they are really sort of threatening this flank. Oh, it might be a bit close there. Yeah, they are a bit close there. I'm going to have to move them a little bit further that way so they're not within an inch. Yeah. So they aren't really threatening this flank, and it just keeps the Pistoliers active and keeps the Pistoliers off the Plague Monk's flank. Magic! Ooh, 10. Channeling the Empire, channeling the Dark. No. I'm going to use 2 dice to try and cast Invocation of Nehek, because they lost someone, and the bare minimum of this spell going through will restore that 1 dead knight, which it does go through. So are they going to try and stop it? Probably not, but then again, the 1 knight will add another rank and increase the strength. Okay, oh god, they're gonna do such nasty things here. You know what? They are gonna try and dispel it. So they're gonna use 2 to try and dispel it, and they need to beat 8. Ah, no, they get it, because that's 7, and then they dispelled it with the +2 from the wizard dispelling it. So yeah, that did succeed in dispelling it. And that may seem silly, but the thinking is it might help the spearmen stay alive if they're not being hit with bloody +2 strength because of my homebrew cavalry charge rule, but also the dice he's going to use to try and cast spells into this scrum here might do some damage to Balefroth. So he sort of almost wants to encourage Balefroth to cast spells. That might be insane. Going to try and cast Wither on 3 dice on the spearman. So he needs 11 with his +2 for his level. That's a total of 12. So he's going to try and dispel that, try and get rid of that one, which he succeeds. But because the spell did pass, Balefroth can continue to cast and do another Vermintide. 3 dice for a Vermintide, needs an 8. Ooh, gets it. I was worried when I saw the 6, thought that might be irresistible. Despite being a magical vortex, it specifically says this can be cast into combat, at which point it does 3d6 strength 2 hits on 1 unit. So because I am banking everything on killing the spearman, I'm going to do it on the spearman. I need those spearmen to die, so... Oh, yeah, that's 12 hits. 5 wounds. Oh, the spearmen have shields. Ooh, I may have given them slightly lower save before. Sorry, that's the 5. 8 fails. 4 succeeds, so that's, yeah. 8 spearmen dead, 2 rats. I tried to Google whether... that would count towards combat resolution, because sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It was technically into combat, but it's also sort of separate from the combat, so it's unclear. Unfortunately, I can't find anything, because the spell is called Vermintide, and Vermintide is also the name of a Warhammer video game. So therefore, you Google anything to do with Vermintide, it's like, oh, I need a guide for this Vermintide level. No, just the spell. So I'm going to say it doesn't, because it doesn't say it does, even in the rewrite for 8th edition. And with those spells, the Law of Plague attribute comes into effect. All enemy units within 6 inches have -1 initiative and movement. So that's obviously the swordsman, the spearman. That's it, just those 2. But that's going to be nasty in this combat that's about to murder them all. Shooting. Plague Claw is going to go for the knights all the way over there. That's a very long way. It is, but it also has a range of 60, so it definitely reaches. And I'm going to aim it at the one at the back to reduce the chance of it scattering onto my things. Rolly, 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 rolly. Direct hit. No scatter at all. So that is every knight gets hit with a strength 2 hit. And I'm not sure how Lookout Sir works exactly, but I would say if all of them in the unit are being hit, you can't do a Lookout Sir to say, oh, I'll take the hit instead of you. No, they're just all being hit. Champion. Wounded. Everyone else. 5 wounds. Yikes. That is really bad, because there are no armor saves against the Plague Claw catapult. So, yeah, they just get hit by molten cheese, and it kills 6 of them. Including the champion. So, not only do they have to take a panic test by default, they would have to take one anyway, because the Knights of the Blazing Sun just got molten cheesed. They're not within Inspiring Presence, but they are still testing on an 8, which they fail. I don't blame them. Like, molten cheese just oozed into all of their armor, so they are going to turn and flee 10 inches, because they use the highest 2. So the nearest enemy is, I believe, the Skaven. 7 inches to that one, only 4 to that one. So they are going to flee directly away from the Skaven slaves. 10 that way. Ooh, I would say they just miss. Guess is whether they go that way. I'd say away from the nearest point. So that one. So they just miss. Meaning he doesn't also have to test for panic. So they are still on the board. But that is bad. Poison Wind Mortar. I mean, I can attack the Flagellants, but that... it's got a decent chance of scattering onto the knights. And... suddenly we're doing very well on this flank. I don't think I want to risk it. I should have moved them over so that they weren't directly behind. I tried to keep up, you see, to keep them within the 3 inches, but I neglected to realise that there would be a big open lane here. No, I'm not going to shoot with it. It's not worth the risk of it scattering onto what is about to be the biggest hammer the Empire has ever felt. You know, apart from the Warhammer after which the game is named. But, you know, apart from that, this one's bad for them. I remembered, but I can't do Billowing Death when they are in combat. So, we go into the combat phase, and immediately, any unit in contact with the Plague Furnace must take D6 toughness tests, and that does include the unit pushing it. But they only fail on a 6, I believe. Yeah, they only fail on a 6, but the others are going to be testing on their toughness. It doesn't say you roll once, so I'm going to roll separately for each. Plague Monks. They take 2. Ooh, close, but no wounds. And because it's specifically touching the Plague Furnace, the Spearmen test, but the Swordsmen don't. Spearmen, 6. 6 toughness tests. And the way toughness tests work, or any characteristic test apart from leadership, is you have to roll equal to or lower than. 4 failed, 2 survived. No armor save allowed, so 4 die. And here's another time when it's unclear if they count for combat res. I'm going to say again that they don't, because the Wrecker attack, which is another thing that it'll do in a bit, specifically says that they do. So I'm going to say that they do not count to combat res despite killing them in the combat phase. But before anything else, we do have a load of impact hits. Not only do the Black Knights inflict impact hits, but so does the Plague Furnace. Plague Furnace does D6, which is 3. I assume calculated at the Plague Furnace's strength, which results in 3 wounds. And at strength 5, no armor saves allowed, and those definitely do count. And now the big charge. So in case you're unaware, I have homebrewed a cavalry impact rule so that they get impact hits 1 each, plus 1 strength for each rank of 5 or more models. So if they brought that back, it would have been +2. As it is, it's just +1. But there are actually 2 kinds of cavalry hitting here. The Black Knights and Squire are both on skeletal steeds, whereas Demir is on a Nightmare, which has actually a higher strength. So I will do the 4 Knight hits first. And they get 3 1s and a 2. That is beyond abysmal. And Demir actually gets a wound. And at strength 5 again, no armor save. And again, that one does count. Now the actual combat. Demir is going to challenge. Before we get to the actual challenge, there is fear. Because all vampire counts inflict fear, so the spearmen have to test, otherwise they're going to be on reduced weapon skill. They are next to the general, so they are testing on a 9. Easily pass. However, Demir has something called Fear Incarnate, which means if anyone passes a fear test against him, they have to re-roll it. I threw a lot into... They fail the second one. I threw a lot into this unit. Like, this unit is my little experiment of what min-maxing in this game would be like. I was just really curious how much I could possibly do with 700 points and a single unit, and I think it is going to smash. Yep, they fail, meaning that they have 1 weapon skill for this turn. And now the actual combat. The other thing that Demir has is Dread Knight, which means that if he is able to, he must challenge, because he sees himself as a dark gentleman. So he is going to challenge, and the Spearman Champion is going to accept, mostly just to keep this slightly crazed vampire out of the combat with the rest. I did slightly misbuild Demir in that I didn't realise you couldn't like dual wield a magic weapon and a non-magic weapon and gain the extra attack, so he does have only 4 attacks. he does have an initiative of 6 and a weapon skill of 8, because that was part of Dread Knight. See, vampires are nothing if not completely insane when they work. So 2 hits. He's also wielding the... only 1 wound. I mean, he only needed 1. But he is also wielding the Obsidian Blade, which means no armor saves are allowed. Not that this lowly spearman would have even got one, with Demir's high strength. And now the actual combat itself. Remember that due to the Plague Rash, they're at -1 initiative, which means the spearmen and swordsmen hit last except for the skeletal steeds. So next is actually Bilefroth, and he has to hit the spearman. He can attack anything that's touching the Plague Furnace. 1 hit, come on guys, you need to kill them this turn, remember that. 1 wound, failed the save. I forgot he has Frenzy, so he has an extra attack, which hits, and wounds, but saved. Next is Squire. 2 hits, only 1 wound, not saved. Now the knights, the plague monks, and the plague monks crewing the furnace all attack. I will do the knights first. 8 knight attacks now that this one is out of range. There it is, 6 hits. And they are equipped with lances, meaning they wound on a 2, so 5 wounds. Oh damn, I've just realised Bilefroth would have a -1 to hit because he's charging over a fence. Damn. I don't remember which dice rolls his were. Yeah, I think it was, I think he got a 4 to hit, which would still work even with the -1, because he needed a 3. Including the ones on the Plague Furnace, we have 19 Plague Monks attacks because they have Frenzy, but they do all have a -1 to hit. What an appalling roll. 2. And another 6. 4 wounds. Only 1 save. Sorry, another 3 attacks, because they've got an extra weapon and Frenzy, and I only added 1 extra attack for the 2 of them, so they do get 3 extra attacks. 2 hits. No wounds. And after all of those hits, the spearmen are still standing. And then 12 Plague Monks attacks against the swordsman. 9. 3 wounds. 2 saves. And 1 dead. Now the Empire gets to fight back. So they are going to have, I'll do, I guess, 3 attacks against the knights. No, 2 attacks against the knights. 1 hit, but no wound. 6 against the Plague Monks. 1 hit. No wound. And 4 spearmen are going for Bilefroth. They can just attack him directly. But no one hits. 7 swordsmen against Plague Monks. They are not afraid. And only get 3 hits. 2 wounds though. And they get no save. So those are the first 2 casualties for the monks. Out of this unit of 50 Plague Monks, 2 of them were killed. So with the ranks... and the ranks, they both are banners, but they have a battle standard. They lose by 17, and they would be steadfast, except they actually have fewer ranks than the Plague Monks. They have 7 ranks against the Swordsman's 6. So they are both testing on double 1. Hang on, sorry, I'm not done. I forgot about the horse attacks and the Wrecker Ball. 2 horse attacks, 1 hit, 1 wound, 1 save. And Demir's Nightmare misses. And then the Wrecker Ball is an attack that goes last, and essentially this is a giant swinging ball of fumes and spikes, and it's like swinging back and forth, and then they release it so it just comes crashing down, and it does an artillery dice worth of hits, 6 hits, 5 wounds, and at strength 5 there are no saves. So yeah, they're down even lower. They lose by 22, but they are still testing on a double 1. This is just in case they somehow manage to survive. So testing on a double 1 for the spearmen, they definitely fail. And the swordsman testing on a double 1, they also fail. So both units break from combat, and the knights are going to try and pursue the spearmen, and the Plague Monks are going to try and pursue the swordsman. The spearmen flee. Wow, 11. That's actually quite impressive. And are pursued 7. So they do get away. Somehow. Basically, because my ruling on this is basically because the spearmen were there. Actually, we'll see. They might not, even with the high roll. So first of all, who's within 6 inches? The Pistoliers, definitely. And Braum. So they flee 11, which takes them through Braum and to there. And the question is, are they now more than 6 inches away? 7 inches away. They are, but also they pursue and charge Braum. I think is how that works. Oh no, hang on. I ruled before, I think, that the panic they cause is instantaneous. So Braum might actually just flee. He does roll 3 for the break test on a 9, which he passes, so no, he does get charged. The Pistoliers are within range of Braum, so they are testing on a 9. And hold. The Swordsmen flee 7 inches and are pursued 8. So unless there's something in the way, like the Black Knights, they do get away. The Black Knights block them. Too unwieldy a unit. But despite that, they do move forward to there, which means I believe they're going to have to test some dangerous terrain. Only the Plague Furnace does, because it counts as a chariot for terms of terrain. It could take a lot of damage if it fails this test. Which it did not. So that was an incredibly devastating turn. Probably the three best units in the army are now fleeing, one of which is almost wiped out. As we go into the Empire turn 3. That was all in the second turn. Despite all of the maneuvering, the Black Knights are still within range of the Flagellants. They're still within sight. So the Flagellants are going to charge them. And they are within the minimum, so they just wheel and charge. Oops. That's bad. I moved them slightly too fast and it was like, oh, what, you want them bunched up? No. I can bunch them up for you. No. But luckily, boom. Neat and orderly. Also, I know they're maces, but they look like hocks of ham with the way they're painted. I think they're like bells. Yeah, I think they're bells on strings. They just look like hocks of ham, like a ham bone type thing. So we've got Braum flank charged and the Flagellants flank charged, but Braum will still be hit by some impact. Next, let's do some recovery. The Swordsman first. Braum is still standing, so they can test on a 9. Pass. Spearman. Oh, definitely pass. They have decided they do not want to be afraid. They've overcome the fear that they had of those vampires, and now they're like, let us at them. Knights of the Blazing Sun on 8. Also passed by quite a lot. This is the big return. Where do I want them to face? Yeah, probably there. I will move Irvin this way. But apart from that, I think we're good. Magic. 3. Come on, what is it with the Empire and getting terrible magic? Channeling 2. No, channeling 2. Oh, yes. 1 for the dark. Oh, this is difficult. I definitely want to do an augment, but I don't know on whom. The Flagellants and Braum. I think what is probably best is a speed of light on the Flagellants to give them weapon skill and initiative 10. Yeah, alright, let's go with 3 of those, so I need an 8. 8 on 3 dice. 11. Try and dispel on 3 dice. It easily dispels it. The Empire have had terrible luck with magic. Just this dark cloud, both figurative and literal, over Averland. Shooting the Pistoliers against the Skaven slaves. All apart from these 3 are in short range. Champion. 1 hit. Short rangers. 5. 6 more. Long rangers. 1 more. Total of 13. 8 wounds. No armor. That is the whole back rank. Wow. Just look at the dead pile here. Skaven slaves, 2 monks, and a single knight against this. Oh, this has not gone well for them. But that is 28 down to 20, so they need to test for panic. on 7, which they fail. And they flee 9 plus 1, because Skaven always flee 1 inch further, so a total of 10 inches away. And unlike when they break in combat, they don't, like, scatter. But that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 6 columns, including the champion. Dangerous terrain. 1 dies, and the champion dies. But this doesn't cause any kind of panic test or anything, because no one cares. They're Skaven slaves. It's back out of combat, so we're going to have all 10 of these shooting at the plague furnace again, which they can still see, even though it is sort of, like, it's even higher now, but yeah, even at ground level they can still see it. Long range, 4 hits. Oh wow, 3 of them managed to hit Bile Froth. Oh no. 1 against the furnace, does nothing. 3 against Bile Froth, do nothing. His hide is too tough. Crossbows as well, same thing. 3 hits. All against the furnace. 1 actually manages to wound it. It's sitting pretty on 6 wounds, but yeah, every little helps. I don't mean to ignore the impending, like, Skaven slaves or the untouched storm vermin, but I'm going to go for the plague monks, I think. Or I'm not, because if it hits the fence, if it manages to land before them, then it will destroy the fence but then move no further. It's not worth potentially wasting the shot to destroy a single bit of fence. So I guess I'm going to go for the storm vermin after all. Aiming there, and it overshoots by 8 inches, which I think is going to carry it all the way, oh damn, all the way to the far side. So yeah, I miss. It's the downside when you sort of try and hit something at an angle. Combat, there is this thing in the middle. So before anything else, impact hits happen. And because, yeah, I'd say that that's not quite touching, but that's these 3. Braum is riding a Pegasus, which makes it monstrous cavalry, but the impact hits are just done against whichever is the highest toughness, and it's both of them. 2 wounds. Does get an armor save, though, and fails 1. Passes 2, but I shouldn't have given them separate bars. They share the same wounds. I thought it was a monster. So he takes a wound. See, he's wearing something called the Helm of the Rat Slayer, which makes him cause terror against Skaven models. Unfortunately, he's being charged by the only non-Skaven model in the army, which is Skaven unit, in the army, which is really, really unfortunate for him. Next is the End is Nigh. This is the flagellants hitting themselves and instantly causing D6 Strength 3 hits to themselves, hoping to kill some of their own units off to gain benefits. 1. And they do actually get a wound. They have no armor, so 1 does die. And the effect this has is it means they will re-roll to hit this turn, and does not count towards combat res. First of all, Demir must challenge, although it's actually Braum's turn. He is going to challenge instead, because it is much in his best interests to challenge and reduce the number of things hitting him. Normally we would now roll for fear, but we actually don't need to in this combat, because of the helm, he also causes fear, so he's immune to their fear, and the flagellants are unbreakable, making them immune to fear. So yeah, no fear in this combat. Damir gets 4 attacks, all 4 hit, only 1 wound, but there are no armor saves allowed because of his obsidian blade. And I believe because he's carrying... Oh! Sorry, my mistake. Sorry, he's carrying a magic sword which lets him go first. Braum actually gets his attacks first. So I rolled that on a 3+, but yeah, it's still 2 hits. 2 wounds, and this is where I discover that not only did I buy him a hand weapon he couldn't use, I didn't buy him any armor, because I chose not to buy the heavy armor, and by default, they don't get any. Vampires cannot wear light armor, apparently. Due to being mounted on a barded mount, he does still get a save, which does miraculously save his life. Like, he literally would have died because I forgot to buy him bloody armor. I can't believe that. Okay, yeah, he takes a wound. Right, so that's their duel done. 1 wound apiece. And now the flagellants and the knights at the back. Squire, first of all, is going to make way in order to get him into combat with them, and he goes first. Only one hit, but if this hits, it's a wound, and it does. And then the one knight and all of the flagellants strike at the same time, so I'll do the knight first. Sorry, before I do, I forgot to do the Pegasus and Nightmare. Pegasus first, no hits. Nightmare, no hit, as I was. The knight misses. 7 attacks on the knights because they have frenzy. 6 hits. They have flails, so they have +2 strength this round. So 5 wounds. Oof. They do get an armor save. And they pass 4 of them. Wow, they miraculously only took 1 wound from all of that. And then 6 attacks against Squire. 3 hits. 3 wounds. Wow. Only 1 save. Ah, yeah, he's got 3 wounds. Otherwise, Squire would be dead. I do find it weird that Squire has more wounds than Damir does, but whatever. This could actually go either way. I think they've actually won. The Flagellant saved him. They have 1, 2, 3 ranks. They have 1 rank. Banner, battle standard. So yeah, the vampires lose by 3. I also forgot to re-roll the hits from the flagellants. The 1 miss against the knights, still missed. The 3 misses against Squire, 1 hit, but did not wound. But yeah, they lose by 3. So because they are undead, they are also unbreakable, so instead they just lose 3 knights. They just crumble. And from victory, Braum is going to rotate to face them. Although he actually cannot. Because he was here, and rotating that way would put him overlapping with that, so he can't actually turn. There isn't room because of the spearmen who are just stood right next to him. We're here for you, sir. Can you not be, please? We're here for you. We've got your... Oh, damn, they also had a -1. Oh, damn, they had a -1. I don't know how that would have affected things. I don't think it would have killed Squire because he got a 6 and he would have been left with a 6+ armor. Would it have killed him? It would, wouldn't it? It would have killed, not him, Damir. Because he needed a 6 to save his life. Because he had no armor. So, yeah, his lack of armor got even worse. Basically, it eroded his, the barding on his thing. Still weighed it down, but... Oh, no. Yeah, I think he dies. He dies in the fight. Which means they lose by a further 1. Or do I test it, or is it... No, I think unstable is they just lose 1 for each. So yeah, I think Damir's dead. Oh, go away, I'm bringing up all the bloody menus. That is stunning. All because I forgot to give him any bloody armor. Gave him an extra sword he wouldn't use, but I didn't give him armor. So at the end of the phase, they now take a leadership test to see whether they crumble. With Squire, they are still testing on a 9 with a reroll. 7. So yeah, they do pass. They're still a rock hard unit even without Damir, but yeah, they're now going to have to take that test every turn. Dark turn 3. First of all, crumble. Testing on a 9, which they just pass. And unfortunately, they're in a very awkward position here because we can't really do anything to help them. We can't charge past them. We can't charge through them. Yeah, they're now a blockade in the way of the attack. But I can definitely charge up here. This is that's within the minimum, so the Skaven slaves do charge into combat. The Storm Vermin are going to be charging into the side of the Flagellants. Although some of them... Oh no, it's not counted as forest, it's fine. I think they may be able to charge the Swordsman. I reckon if they rotate, because they get a free rotation and then you close the door. So there's no way I can really test this. I'm going to have to just like, no, I can take the first one. Right, I'm thinking if I like... would that work? No, they're in the way. So no, I don't think they can charge at all. That's so annoying. too wide a frontage on this thing for them to be able to charge past. I mean, they have Frenzy and therefore have to try and charge, but there are no legal charges that they can make. As they are free from that particular burden, they are going to do the very Skaven thing, which is reverse back into their cover. And they're like, oh, would you look at that? The vampires are getting crumbled and smashed directly in front of us. I mean, we'll attack them in the flank, but we're just going to sit here and wait for them to be done. And I think if I move those a little bit this way, they can then have a nice clear line of sight to bombard the swordsman, although it might be only 24 inches. Oh yeah, that's... I think they only moved a little. They can move a bit further. Yeah, so they're going to be able to bombard them. And now the Skaven slaves. Testing on an Almighty Colossal 2. Unsurprisingly, they are still fleeing, so they flee 8 plus 1, 9 inches, which I think is going to be off the board. It is, because they have to go further than them, so that is off the board. That's okay. They're Skaven slaves. That's what they're for. Magic. 4. Ooh, the winds are turning against the Skaven. Channeling 2 on the Empire side. Channeling only 1 now that Damir is dead. Who knows if Manfred will be pleased or sad. I mean, the Skaven really don't care that much. I'm thinking a Wither on the Flagellants, because they're the biggest threat right now. I reckon we can handle the Swordsman even if we get flanked by the Pistoliers. So let's go with, yeah, all 4. Need an 11. Ooh, barely avoided that irresistible. Total of 20. You're going to need either 3 6s or an irresistible, neither of which you got. So they are affected by Wither. So for the rest of the game, the Flagellants have a toughness of 2, which is going to make them much, much easier for the Storm Vermin to kill. And any enemy units within 6 inches? There are not, so no one's affected by the Plague Rash. Shooting. Plague Claw. I think I'm going to go for the Pistoliers and stop them from... because they're going to come behind and take out the Plague Claw and stuff in their freedom now. So let's stop that if we can. Scattering. Oh, misfire. That's not good. And the result is suspiciously off target. The opposing player may position it within 3d6. Ha. Okay, that's 9 inches. Anywhere within 9 inches. Oh, that's quite mean of you. Yep, right there. Close you can get. So that hits 9. I'm counting that guy is in. So 9 Plague Monks. Of course, it's not very good against Plague Monks. Only 1 wound, but that does... it would cause a panic test, but they are unbreakable, so it does not. And the Poison Wind Mortar is going to be firing over at those swordsmen. Right in the middle? Yeah, right in the middle. And this thing scatters. Direct... oh... misfire results in wildly off target, 3d6. What has happened? 10 inches. Okay. Where's 10 inches of there? Oh, would you look at that on them again? So that's 3 of them suffering a wound on a 4. 5 on a 5. Which is just 1. So good shooting, guys. You took out 2 Plague Monks and that's it. Nothing's within range of billowing death. So we just have this big mess of a combat. So, challenges. I do not want Braum to be involved in a challenge because I need to kill him with the knights. So, the Storm Vermin champion is going to challenge. So that's going to be accepted by the Flagellant champion. So that's the sneaky way, you see, because I can't decide who accepts the challenge, but I can... decide who makes the challenge. So by making it someone that Braum couldn't actually accept, then it guarantees he's going to be in the combat. First things, the Flagellants take d6 strength 3 hits. 2. Oh, actually wounds on a 3 now. 2 wounds anyway. Wounds on a 3 because they're actually weakened. But that is 2 more dead. Meaning they re-roll to hit and to wound this turn. Fang Leader attacks first. Oh, 2 hits. With the Halberd strength and the Wither, that is 2 wounds. So, yeah, he's dead. Unfortunately, because Squire made way to fight the Flagellants, I don't think he can move back to fight Braum. I don't think that's how it works. I think it's only if they're unengaged. But the Storm Vermin are actually really fast, so they go next. 9 attacks against the Flagellants. 5 hits. 5 wounds, no saves. The whole back row of them gone. Believe it or not, this is the first time I've ever used Storm Vermin in a game, and they're pretty good. They're really fast and really skilled. Braum actually goes at the same time as the Storm Vermin, so he will attack just the Knights. Oh, he's got always strikes first, so he goes first anyway. And, oh, he gets to re-roll attacks because he's got always strikes first, which means he goes first, but if his initiative is higher, he gets to re-roll misses. 2 hits, re-roll the 1. 3 hits, 3 sixes for hits. 1 wound. Saved, though, because they have much better armor than the vampire did. I'm just going to put it down to arrogance and, like, gentlemanly as, a gentleman doesn't wear armor to battle. Gentleman dies. Would a gentleman like to wear armor in his crypt? Next, the Pegasus. 1 hit, 1 wound, 1 save. Squire against the Flagellants. 3 hits, only 2 wounds. And the Flagellants strike at the same time as the rest of the Knights. 3 against the Storm Vermin. They have Frenzy and get to reroll the 2 misses. Both horribly missed again, but that's okay. But now they don't get the Flail because they're still in the same combat, so they strike you at much lower strength. Still got 2 wounds though. 1 save, 1 dead. 4 Flagellants against Squire. 3 hits. Only 1 wound. Oh no, sorry, that was the reroll. So 4 hits total. No wounds, all rerolled. Still no wounds. I forgot to reroll 2 failed wounds against the Storm Vermin. No wounds. And then 3 Knights against Braum. No hits at all. Sorry, 5 Knights, I forgot they do get support. 1 hit, no wound. Squire's Horse, no wound, no hit rather. 3 Night Horses, 2 hit against Braum, 2 wounds against Braum, but he just saves them both. They get 1 rank, Skaven get 3 ranks, banner, oh no banner on that side, and a standard bearer, so the Skaven and vampires win by 13. They are not steadfast, but they are unbreakable. So the Flagellants pass. Braum will have to test. He is also testing on double 1, but he does get 3 dice. Of course, that was never going to work for him. So he flees 5 and is pursued. Oh, sorry. Gets a swift stride. Still 5. 6. It's 6 now. And is pursued. No, he can't be pursued because they are still in combat. So they can't pursue because they are still held in place by the Flagellants. So yes, he turns and flees 5. Which puts him... I'm going to have to stop him from snapping there. As you were. He goes to there. So he does just clear them because I don't respect the 1 inch between allies. But they do need to test. And cannot use his as he is fleeing. So they are testing on a 7. As they panic. Which they just pass. Any others that were within 6 inches? Yeah, they are going to have to test. They are not. So swordsmen testing on a 7 as well. They pass as well. So they are going to reform to get more into combat with them. And they are going to reform to get more bodies in combat with them. Almost forgot this combat up here. Despite being a massive horde, only 6 can actually take part in the combat due to the way War Machine combat works. Because for some reason you just can't just overwhelm them with numbers. You have to fight them 6 against however many they have. So that's 7 attacks because the champion has 2. 4 hits. Only 1 wound. But it means they only get 2 attacks back. 1 hit. 1 wound. No save. 1 dead. Very quick combat. They have 3 for the rank. They win by 4. So they're testing on a 3, which they just fail, but they do fail. Effectively destroying it. And I am going to move the cannon aside just because the Skaven are going to reform. And the cannon would be in the way. They are going to reform to face that way. ready to continue their glorious ascent into maybe one day being proper clan rats instead of slaves. That would be nice for them. Not for anybody else, but for them. Empire, turn 4. How do 4 Knights of the... Oh, sorry, hang on. They fled. 3 Knights of the Blazing Sun. I forgot when you flee, you lose your banner. So they lost as well. And one of the Spearmen as well. They don't have their banner anymore. Also, I've got to remember, if they've got a musician, they have +1 to rally. It's something I always forget, because I only found out it existed last battle. But yes, how do 3 Knights of the Blazing Sun feel about charging a horde of 34 Skaven slaves? I mean, they don't feel great about it, but at the same time, if they don't, who will? So, they can reach the Storm Vermin if they get a 9, but if they do, the slaves are just going to sweep round here. So I think they're going to have to charge the slaves, if for no other reason than to stop them from progressing. So they need a 4 to charge the slaves, which they get. Well, the Spearmen are going to charge into the flank of the Knights. Oh, leave Braun behind. They're going to charge into there, committing yet more more units to this massive ongoing scrum. But that's all for charges. The swordsmen are going to rotate like that, but they're not going to charge, because they'd have a very difficult time attacking the monks behind the barrier, and the monks are liable to charge out from behind the barrier. So they're just going to hold on, especially when the Pistoliers are going to... Oh, should they go for the catapult? No. Pistoliers are going to move 5 and then rotate 2 and have a very bad time, or a very excited time. Oh, you get to shoot the big unit. Yeah, you do. You do get to shoot the big unit. Hold on to your horses. The crossbows are in a bad position. The handguns can shoot, but the crossbows can still shoot the furnace. Arnold is going to... Oh, hang on. I need to test see if Braum recovers. He does. He needed a 9. So he recovers, and he's going to reform that way. Arnold is going to just walk a little over this way. Evan is going to ride his horse behind the building. Magic. Ooh, there's the big one we've been waiting for. 11. Channeling 2. Yes, maxed out at 12, which is the most you can have. And 1 for Balfroth. No. I think a speed of light, but bubbled, maybe? Oh, I don't know. I don't think they're going to be able to beat the Storm Vermin. Yeah, screw it, I've got the dice to spare. Let's go with 6 on a bubbled speed of light, so it'll affect all units within 12, which is both parts of this combat. Try not to explode. Arnold. Arnold did not explode. 23. Skaven going to try and dispel that with everything. Yeah, irresistible dispel. Done. But that is all of their dice, leaving Arnold to bubble Far's protection, which will give them a -1 to hit against, again, all within 12. 6 dice again. Really playing with fire, and it is paying off. That's a pass. Shooting these guys, I need to fix them. Come on. Needed to see who is... Are they all within the front? Yeah, they are. Okie dokie. So they're all going to shoot at the Plague Monks. These 4 are within short range. Champion. 2. Rest of the short rangers. 3 more. The rest of them need a 7 to hit, which is a 6+, and then a 4+. 3, 6. 2 more hits, so a total of 7. 5 wounds. No armor. That's the back row and 1 more. Arnold has once again wandered into the bloody way. And I don't know that this front... Yeah, I'd say the 2 that are directly behind him, they're too close to shoot over him, because that's not actually as high as it looks. Oh no, it is. That is the accurate height. Yeah, no, I've changed my mind. It's tall, and it is clear, so yeah, 10. 2 hits, both on the furnace. 1 wound. Slowly damaging this thing. And the crossbows, they're far enough away that they can... Ooh. Oh, his wing might be in the way. Yeah, I'm gonna allow it. 10 shots against the furnace. 3 hit, 1 more wound. It's down to half health now. And combat, we have the knights up there, and then this scrum in the middle. Let's do the knights. Impact hits first, 3 of them. 1 wound, unsaved. 17 Skaven Slave attacks because they get all 4 ranks. They've got spears and they're a horde. 7 hits, 5 more. This is really going to come down to their armor. 6. They actually, wow. They fail exactly 3, which is all 3. That is genuinely stunning to me that the Skaven Slaves killed the knights before they could even fight back. Wow. I am mildly impressed with the Skaven Slaves. They might actually get promoted to clan rats. I mean, if anyone was watching, which nobody is, and nobody cares. Really sucks to be a Skaven Slave, doesn't it? There are no champions left on the Empire side. But first, the Flagellants. 5. They do 3 wounds to themselves, further depleting their numbers, but keeping the reroll to hit and to wound for another turn. 9 Storm Vermin attacks. 4. 3... No, 2 wounds. Wow, they got 2 1s. Only 2 wounds. Oh, hang on, they've got -1 to hit. One of those hits wouldn't have hit. Sorry. I'm going to have to re-roll the 3 then. But they won't get higher than 2. So these, only 3 hits. Only 1 was a wound. So actually one of them comes back to life. Sorry, I thought I was dead. I got better. Squire will push to the front. He's going to push to the Flagellant side, as they are the bigger threat. 3 attacks. 1 hit, because of the reduced hit chance, but still ridiculously easy to kill them because of their reduced toughness. 1 dead. Now the Flagellants, Knights, and Spearmen all attack at once, so I'll go Spearmen, Knights, Flagellants. 6 Spearmen against Knights. 3 hits. 1 wound. Saved. 3 Knight attack. Oh, damn, hang on. Fear. Testing on a 9. Forgot to test for the Spearmen. Oh, they pass anyway. Alright, fair enough. 3 Knight attacks as one of them's the champion. 1. 1 wound. 1 dead. 4 Knights against the Flagellants. 2 hits, even with the -1. 2 dead, but they do still get to strike back. 2 Flagellants against Knights. 2 hits. No wounds. 4 Flagellants, including the 2 dead ones, against Squire. Also, they don't have Frenzy anymore because they lost to combat. 3 hits, but no wounds. He's tough. And 2 Flagellants against Storm Vermin. 2 hit. No wounds. That's really poor of the Flagellants this turn. 3 ranks, no banner, battle standard. They lose by 11. They are both, well, the Flagellants are unbreakable. They stay in the fight regardless. The Spearmen are testing on a double 1, which they fail. They then flee. 7, but cannot be pursued. So they go to here. But they're within them, so they've got to go further. So then they're within them, so they've got to go further to there. And they trigger panic tests in Braum, Crossbowmen, and Handgunners. Crossbowmen on 9 because of Braum nearby. They pass. Handgunners also on 9. They fail. And Braum actually tests on 3, but he passes anyway. Handgunners flee 5 inches, which I think, yep, takes them off the board. I think the handgunners did... I mean, they did much better than the handgunners did in the previous battle. They did abysmally in that. I don't think they got a single kill. Not even entirely sure they fired their guns. Whereas in this, they chipped away at stuff. The Dark Cloud, turn 4. They, I believe, are still unable to legally charge. Because they would have to rotate through their own unit, which they can't do, so they can't charge. Therefore, they don't need to test for Frenzy. That's my interpretation of this. The slaves are going to march to move a total of 10 inches down this way. I'm going to put the cannon back on the hill. So they are now going to start really harassing the back line. Can that see? It cannot, but they can. So, can still fire. They're really huddling behind this building now, aren't they? Magic! 7. Channeling 2 for the Empire, they get 1. Channeling 1 for the Skaven, they get none. It's definitely got to be a Wither against the Swordsman, though. I want to put 6 in, but I've got a bad feeling. Oh, if I put fewer than 6 in, they're definitely going to be able to dispel it, and I need it to go through. Like, the Swordsman are the only real threat that still remains on the board. The Pistoliers I'm just ignoring. They're whittling away with their puny little shots against an unbreakable unit. They're going to take a year and a day to get through this many Plague Monks. But the Swordsmen, they actually pose a bit of a threat. So I'm going to have to put 6 into a Wither. Oh, no Irresistible, good. 21. That's going to be hard to dispel, unless he gets an Irresistible, which he did. Come on! Bloody Irresistible Dispelling. That is, like, the Empire magic. In fact, the whole magic in this has been very weird and, like, very ebby and flowy, with so many Irresistible Dispelling and not a single Irresistible Force. This is a bizarre game. Like, I've never seen magic like this in a game before. Shooting. Let's get a big glob of Plague Catapult onto the Swordsman. Again, just ignoring the Pistoliers. Try not to misfire, please. Good. Bad. Oh, no, that's bad. That is a bad thing to happen. 6 inches that way. Okay. Yeah, that hits that knight and 2 of them as well. On the knight, nothing. On the 2 guys, nothing. Great. The Storm Vermin can definitely see the Swordsman over there. Is it within the front arc? It is. So yeah. Oh, he's not within 3 inches though. He can't use their line of sight. Damn. Can he see? No, I'd say he's in the way. Like, I can see, but he'd need to be like here to get the line of sight, and even then it'll be iffy because of the fences and stuff in the way, so I'm going to say he probably can't fire. Flagellants, first of all, they whip themselves, as they always do. D6, 5 hits, 5 wounds. That leaves a single 1. So which side does he stand on? I do not know, but I'm going to say the Storm Vermin, because that was like the corner of the unit. That's my interpretation anyway. So 5 deaths means he has +1 toughness this round, bringing him back up to his starting toughness, but he's definitely gonna die. 7 Storm Vermin attacks. Still harder to hit, but that's 3 hits, more than enough, because he is now dead. See, Flagellants seem really good. Like, the staying power they have as an unbreakable unit that doesn't have, like, unstable, like vampires do. Or undead do, rather. It seems really potent, but they kill themselves. They just kill themselves at the beginning of each round, and when you roll high like that, and yeah, it's low toughness combined with them hitting themselves means they just drop like flies. Crazy end apocalypse obsessed flies. So these are now going to reform, which I don't know if these do. I'm going to say they do because they are out of combat now. So yeah, I'm going to say they can reform like that. And they will also just bring that into line. So that was a very quick combat turn as we go into Empire turn 5. Now they have to make some decisions here because they're going to get charged by the knights, so they probably have to charge in first. That's pretty much a given. They're within the minimum, so they are going to charge in and close the door. This is probably the only real chance of a counterattack that they're going to get because they are closing in all around. So Braum is also going to charge in. He's also within his minimum quite easily, so he charges in. Pistoliers aren't going to move. They're going to keep shooting this unit because the unit can't really do anything to stop them. The Plague Claw, they're too close to this unit to try shooting at, although then again they are now out of targets. But yeah, they're going to stay there and keep shooting. Crossbows now don't have a target unless they... No, they're going to keep going for the furnace. Arnold is relatively safe there, but Evan is a little bit worried, so he's just gonna like, it's not letting me move past because of the overlap on that, but he can definitely fit through there. So he's going to move like 3, 6, 7. Just slip through that little gap. He is blocking some of them, but he's worried about these Skaven slaves that are coming around the edge that killed some knights. He's weaker than a knight, so he'd rather flee in the way of the crossbows than get charged on his own. Spearmen, or what are they? Spearmen, yeah. They are just within, so they're testing on a 9. Oh, double 1! What insane courage you have, as you've fled off the board almost twice now. Magic! Another high one, 8. Channeling 2. Oh, got 1. Channeling 1. Nothing. He's got like 3 1s in a row for channeling. I'm not sure how I feel about the magic on this side. Like, it's very... excuse me, my voice is failing after 4 hours of this game. The magic on the Empire side is incredibly passive, and I find it very boring as magic goes. I really like the magic that blasts stuff apart or has like dramatic effects like Wither. These little things of, oh, this increases your initiative, or this increases reduces the chance people are going to hit you. They're, to me, rather boring uses of magic. I thought I'd try them with this because, you know, light is good against undead, and I mean, he wound up getting absolutely nothing that would help with that. But light is generally augmentive spells anyway. Augmentive and sort of anti-undead and demons. It's doing sort of exactly what it's supposed to. It's just rather boring to me. I do much prefer like the withers and the plagues and the even like the regeneration ones. They're very good. I forgot to test at the start of my turn, and they failed and lost 2. Oh. -1 because of the Battle Standard Bearer. That's awkward. I hope that wouldn't have affected things, because that's for the general crumbling. I should have tested at the start of the last Dark Cloud turn, which I did not, and I apologise. I'm going to try 4 dice for a bubbled, an upcast Far's Protection. So 4 dice for a 12. Still no irresistible. 19 total. I'm going to let it through. I'm not going to try and dispel it. So all of them are now protected by that. They're all within range. And the reason I didn't try and dispel that is because I think the speed of light is much more threatening. Oh, sorry, I thought the Storm Vermin were in a fight this round. Oh, well, they will be next round, won't they? Yeah, I think the Black Knights are going to get wiped out. Skaven are okay with that. Bilefroth is fine with that. He really, yeah, that doesn't bother him at all. At this stage, they've more than served their purpose. I will try and bubble upcast a speed of light on 16. 15 actually didn't pass. Shooting. I think we only have the crossbows, and we'll see how many can shoot. These 2 can. Those 2 can. I'd say they are blocked by him because he's on a horse. Those... I'd say they can shoot. So yeah, it's just these 2 are blocked because Irvin decided to move directly in front of them. So 8. 3 hits. No wounds. Oh, I didn't roll to see if they hit Bilefroth or the Furnace. Okay, one of those actually would have hit Bilefroth, so I will re-roll one of them against Bilefroth. Nope, no wound there either. Okay. These 4 short range again. Champion. 2. Short rangers. 1. Long rangers. 0. Come on, guys. And 2. So a total of 5 hits. Great work, guys. You didn't move and you got 5 bloody hits. And 2 wounds. Pitiful, really, considering that that's literally their only contribution to this game, really. Combat. Braum is going to challenge Squire. Or Braum is going to challenge, regardless. I kind of think Squire's going to die if he accepts the challenge, so I will switch him for the Black Knight's champion who will accept in his place. Like, Squire has enough combat experience, combat knowledge to know not to fight someone who strikes much, much faster than you, if you can avoid it. So he actually does get rerolls for these, which is something I think I've been forgetting this whole game. I think I may even mentioned it at one point and just didn't do it. Yeah, so that's in total with the rerolls 3 hits, 1 wound, which is enough to kill the champion. I was unaware that the swordsman champion actually has a higher initiative, so he strikes at the same time as Squire. So he is going to try and hit Squire. Why not? Testing for fear, before I forget. They pass, carry on. Swordsman champion gets 1 hit, no wound. Squire is not even acknowledging them. Actually, what did they get? Oh, they got the -1. So the 4 actually misses, so no hits from Squire. 4 knights hits against the swordsman. I think that's the best chance we have here, but it's not a very good chance. 1 hit, 1 wound, no save, and ward save, no parry either. So 1 dead. 5 swordsmen against knights, 1 hit, no wound. 4 swordsmen against Squire because they have no other targets. 3 hits, no wounds. So they get 3 for rank. They don't have a banner anymore, but they do, and they have a battle standard. So the knights lose by 2. So they, I believe, instantly lose 2 more guys. But otherwise stay in the combat. Dark Cloud, turn 5. And we have a bit of a log flume situation. This one little unit, which seems so important at the beginning. Actually, I may be able to get a charge off here. They may have presented enough of a flank that I can charge them. I think they have, you know. I think I can rotate. Yes, I can. So I can rotate to there and then move. I'm going to do that. This is going to have to take a terrain test for going over the fence again. So it could be bloody destroyed if I roll poorly, but I roll poorly. Oh no. Oh no, you see that's really bad because they take d6 wounds because it's a chariot. Chariots take d6 wounds when they fail a dangerous terrain. Okay, down to 2 wounds. That could have been really bad. That could have been incredibly bad. But they get the charge off and manage to smack into the side of the swordsman. This could be the opportunity they've been waiting for, sat behind this barrier all game waiting for a chance to counterattack. And they got it because the swordsman tried to finish off the knights before the knights charged them. Okay, this could be it. 12 inches to there, so they could charge on a 7. They make it quite easily. So the Skaven slaves, they're going to rotate a little so that they can miss the house. And they actually can't reach. Never mind. Yeah, they cannot fit through the gap, so they cannot make the charge. So I'm going to have to move them back to roughly where they bloody were and reform instead, because they couldn't have tried to make the charge, you know. They're a much tighter unit that will be able to actually help. Storm Vermin are going to move up a bit so that as soon as a vacancy occurs... Oh, yep, hang on. Testing on a 9 for crumbling, they pass. So yes, as soon as the Black Knights crumble or die off or whatever, the Storm Vermin are going to be able to charge in. Poison Wind Mortar is perfectly in position to take them. Plague Claw will also probably be going for them, as they are basically the only thing that can still be attacked. Magic, 7. Channeling 2. Oh, bloody hell, the Empire got 2. Channeling 1. If you roll a 1 here... Oh, no, you got it as well. Magic knows this is the time. 5 dice for a Wither on the Swordsman. Oh, I really thought that was going to be irresistible. 21. Yep, all 6 to try and resist that. Irresistible. Weird, weird game. So the reason I only used 5 there instead of 6 is I'm also going to cast Vermintide. I was hoping that they'd have lower toughness, but 3 dice should be able to hit the 8 for Vermintide. Yep, total of 11. So they need a really good roll, which they didn't get. So Vermintide is cast on the Swordsman because it can be cast while in combat. And they take 3d6, strength 2 hits, so 9 against the Swordsman. 1. Gets an armor save, which he failed, so it did get a kill at least. At least we've got that going for us. Single rat killed a guy. That would be pretty horrific. You know, just like, if you're a unit of swordsmen and literally one of your group gets taken down by a swarm of rats in the middle of all of you, that's pretty terrifying. Even if it doesn't, like, kill 7 of you, it just literally see one of your friends, one of your compatriots in arms that you fought with for years, just get bloody eaten by rats in front of you. Bloody hell. Yikes. God, the Warhammer world is grim. Phew. Shooting the mortar against the pistoliers. Yep, that's within the 24 inches. Now please, do not scatter anywhere nasty. Or at all. Oh, yeah. I mean, if you're going to scatter 8 inches just off the bloody board, whatever. Yep, they are beyond the, I think it's 12 inches is the minimum range. So, go for you. Don't scatter. Yep, again, just 8 inches, middle of nowhere. Whatever. Better than exploding. Or scattering onto me. And now, probably the last big combat. And I'm going to activate the Plague Banner, which is a one-use only thing that I can activate in any close combat phase, and the Plague Monks can re-roll to hit and to wound for this turn only. I'm going to kill them all, mwahaha, and I'm going to top that off by having the Plague Monks champion challenge. So the Swordsman champion will accept. So I'm going to have to shift them both so that they can both hit, and we will do this first. Oh yeah, and because he cast a Plague spell, both of these... Oh no, not him. So just the swordsmen have -1 initiative, which is going to be instrumental because now that means the Plague Monks hit first. They've never lost a combat, so he has 4 attacks because of Frenzy and an additional weapon. Are they still affected by FARs? Yes, they are. 2 hits, get to reroll the other 2. Nope, just 2. No wounds, get to reroll them. 1 wound. 1 wound is enough. Armor save. Okay, he's still alive, so he gets to fight back. Wasn't expecting this, but okay. No hits. Wow, that's pretty poor, man. Braum is next. He's going against the Knights. He has a reroll because of always strikes first. 2 hits. 3 hits. I forgot to do the skeletal horses attacks last time. Oh well. 2 wounds. Oof. 1 save, 1 dead. Which does actually now remove Braum from the combat. No it doesn't. Because I can move Squire up there instead. Braum's Pegasus. 1 hit. No wound. Squire against the Swordsman. 2 hits. No wounds. 18 Plague Monk attacks against the Swordsman. Still a low chance to hit, but 3. 7 total. And I get to reroll the 11 that missed. 2 more. 9. 5 wounds. Rerolled for another 1. 6 wounds total. 2 saved. Oh, they can't parry because we're hitting them in the flank. So 4 dead. Also, I forgot to do the Billowing Death. Not the Billowing Death. Fumes. Whatever it's called. Enshrouded by Fog. That was it. So D6 on the Plague Monks and D6 on the Swordsman. 6 on the Plague Monks. Only on 6s though. Oh, that's unfortunate. 2 on 6s. So 2 Plague Monks die to the Fog. D6 on the Swordsman. 5, but these don't count towards combat res. Another reason why Wither is so useful. 2 dead. No, 2 pass, 3 dead. Because no armor saves are allowed. I forgot to do Bile Froth, but that's okay, I'll do them now. You know, in hindsight, Far's protection is crazy good. Like, it's reducing even, like, usually fairly sure thing attacks to just, like, a coin flip. But he doesn't benefit from the Plague Banner, sadly. It's only Plague Monks. So no wounds. 1 Knight against the Swordsman. Miss. 1 against Braum. Miss. 3 Skeletal Horses against Swordsman. 2 hit. I probably should have been going for the Swordsman more. 1 wound, as that is how you win combats in this. When that was saved. 3 for you. 3 for you. Actually, you don't get the 3 because you are disrupted. Because you've been hit in the flank. So that means you lose. Oh, this isn't in use anymore. You lose. I say you. The Empire loses the fight by 7. Oh, and Battle Standard Bearer. No banners on this side. There is banners on this side. So you lose it by 9. They lose it by 9. Braum testing on double one. Actually holds. That's incredible. Genuinely stunning. Although I should have tested them first, because if he'd broken, they wouldn't have been able to use his leadership. But yes, Swordsman testing on 9. Which that would have been the difference. If he'd failed, they would have failed that one, but because he passed, okay, they both hold. Miraculously. Not what I expected at all. It was fast protection. That really reduced the number of hits I got. As we go into Empire turn 6, the final turn. They can charge the flank. I just don't know if there's any good to doing that. I feel like that's just going to give them more fodder to win the combat. So instead, rotate 2, start freaking out again, and then move forward 6, because you are going to try and shoot the Plague Claw. It's not going to work, but they're going to try. Evan is going to move over here. I don't know if he's got barding. He does not, so he can move a little bit further. Over to there. Crossbows are going to reform in preparation for being charged. And, the spearmen can't really do anything. They've just got no way to reach anyone. This is their last move, so they're done. Magic. 10. That is a powerful final turn. Channeling 2. Nope. Channeling 1. Nope. Start with a bubbled speed of light on 16. 5 dice. 19. They can only dispel or try and dispel 1 spell. I think Far's Protection. Yeah, definitely Far's Protection. So let that one go through. And then 5 to bubble Far's Protection on 12. 21. Can use all 6 dice to try and dispel that. 20! It passes! They got both augment spells through this turn. Oh, hang on. I forgot to do the Wrecking Ball attack, because it has the Always Strikes Last. So it does an artillery of damage. 6 hits. 5 wounds. No armor from that. Wouldn't have affected the outcome because they were already testing on... Hang on. Should they have fled? They should have fled. Sorry. I think I'm tired. I completely missed. Sorry, I was so fixated on they rolled an 8. That means they don't flee. But no, they needed a double 1 because they lost by so much. I was so blinded by the fact that Braum got a double 1, I thought that meant that they didn't need it. But no, they would have fled the combat. Sorry. They would have fled 6. Oh, I feel really silly now. They would be where Erwin is now, because they would have fled before he moved. Sorry, I'm wondering if this is too late for me to be doing this. They will try and rally on a 9, which they fail, so they would keep fleeing. 10 more inches. God, if I just turned the tide of the battle around by remembering that they should have failed. I mean, they would have been out of the way for Erwin. So there's that. That changes things a bit, doesn't it? Just a little bit. They would have... I can't move that over. They would have reformed from victory to there. Which is as far as over as they can go because of the building. Whoops. I hope I haven't made a mistake there. Yeah, they would still be within it, but they're out now. They're out of the battle, basically. I always worry when, I realise late on after something, I don't know, I'm tired now, I've been recorded this for almost 5 hours. That means he could have fled, in which case he wouldn't have been able to do his spells. Alright, I'm going to leave the spells there either way, because at this point, it's too much of a retcon, but would he have fled on a 9? No, he wouldn't. Okay. Alright, that's set my mind at ease a little bit. No shooting because the crossbows reformed and moved. So this combat, Braum is going to challenge, and Squire will, has to accept. They're both injured. Weapon skill 10, initiative 10. He goes first. Braum goes first, 3 hits. No wounds. God, he's hard to wound, this White King. I assume the Pegasus also gains 10 initiative, so he goes next. 1 hit. No wound. Only hitting on 6s because of the bloody weapon skill and Far's Protection. Crazy. No hit from the horse either. So, Nothing. Nothing happens. Except that they... Oh, that's from the flanking, which doesn't happen. But they have a banner, and they have another banner. So they actually win by 2, despite no one doing any damage. So Braum is going to have to test on a 7. But he gets 3 dice. And just passes the 2 and the 5 into the final Dark Cloud turn. I forgot to do the shooting for the Pistoliers. I will do that now. All at long range, but they are all within range. Champion gets 1 hit. Rest of the unit is another 36 shots, hitting on the 7s, which is a 6 and then a 4. So 2, 4, 8, 0. So 8, of which 3 more hits, so a total of 4 hits. Very low chance to wound. No wounds at all. Not really unexpected, but they could have got lucky. Anyway, yes, sorry, back to Dark Cloud turn. Final turn of the game. Test for the crumbling of the Watsits, the vampires. They're still there. Miraculously, bloody ages after Damir died. Maybe he's not actually dead. Maybe that's what that's saying. I don't think I'm going to charge at all, because they can't, although they have Frenzy. Oh, actually, hell, these guys have Frenzy. Yeah, they have to charge. I don't think that they can. I don't know why they have Frenzy. I have no idea. Can War Machines charge? I don't think they can. I think they only have Frenzy for like use in combat. I don't think they can charge because the crew technically don't exist. It's just the War Machine, and a War Machine can't charge. So, yeah, I'm just going to ignore that. But yeah, the slaves could charge the crossbows, but they're going to get shot. They can see they're going to get shot. They're also out of sight of anyone who's sort of watching over them, so they're not really inclined to push themselves. The storm vermin aren't paying attention because they're watching the fight. But just to mention, the Skaven have played this really, really well. Like, they have completely surrounded Braum, who is injured, and this entire game, no Skaven has got into contact with Braum. And that's important because he's wearing the Skaven Slayer helm, or the Rat Slayer helm, which means Skaven have hatred against him, but he causes terror in them. So no one has gone near him because they're afraid of him. But if the vampires die, they're going to just mob him. But until then, they're keeping their bloody distance. And it's just hilarious that that's happened. But yeah, they can't charge, they don't want to charge. So there is no point charging at all. Magic. Oh, 11. Channeling 2. Channeling 1. No. Or I could try a 6 dice Wither on Braum. That might... I don't think that's going to make any difference, and there is the chance he could explode. Like, it's a little bit gamey. It's one of those situations where in-world they would all still be going, absolute nuts on it, but I don't want to risk Bilefroth. He's content to just let Braum kill the knight so he doesn't have to deal with them, and then they're going to mob him with their massive remaining, virtually untouched units. So, yeah, no magic. I will have a bit of Poison Wind Mortar going on, though. That's no skin off Bilefroth's warts. What? Direct hit. Nice. So the one under, let's do a look out, sir, to see if he gets pushed out of the way. On a 1, he doesn't. Nope, he does. So another one gets wounded on a 4, and then 5 more get wounded on 5s. 4 doesn't wound. 3 get wounded by the 5s. No armor saves, so 3 dead. And that is over 25%, so they immediately take a panic test. They are not within their own general's range, so they're testing on a 7. Which they fail. So they immediately flee. 4 inches. Wow. From the nearest unit, which I think is probably... them, 5 inches, yeah, from them. So into the woods. And because I do it off the base and not off the particular trees, for this one, again, this one didn't count as actual woods. That is 4, including the champion, who need to test for dangerous terrain. Champion, he's fine. Of the 3, 1 dies. and they're actually too close for the Plague Claw to shoot at them, so I suppose he could shoot at the fleeing swordsman. That could be fun. A little bit of target practice. And it is... goes that way 2 inches. To there. So, still hits 12 of them. Oh, the champion should have moved back to the front, but he hasn't, so I suppose he hasn't, so I'll just assume he's not hit by it. So 12 of them. I suppose he might bring them under half. 2 wounds, no armor. Maybe it has. I'll find out at the end. And then the final thing is this combat. The challenge goes on between Squire and Braum. 3 attacks from Braum. 2 hit, reroll the 1 because of always strikes first and higher initiative. Still a miss, so 2 hits. 2 wounds. Both failed. Squire is destroyed. Well, I mean, that's going to earn them some victory points, but that's pretty much all the victory points they're likely to get. So 2 for that. They don't get to fight back because it was a challenge. They get 1 for their banner, but they lose by 1, so they lose their musician. And that is the end of Clan Deathtoll's 167. 109 are still alive. And of the 15 in the contingent sent by Manfred, only 1 is still standing and will probably crumble to dust very soon. Out of the 151 from Averland, only 37 are still on the field at the end, although a number did flee. The Empire, with dead or fled, scored 642 points. They also killed a general and a battle standard bearer, didn't need to be the only one, bring them up to 842. The Dark Clouds, with dead or fled, scored 1,110 points, and then got 3 standards for another 75, bringing them to a total of 1,185. Although this looked incredibly one-sided, there was only a margin of 340 odd, which means this is a narrow victory. And the reason for that is Demir and Squire were both worth 100 additional points on top of their high cost. So letting that single unit get ground up and destroyed probably changed this from a much better victory. Nonetheless, this is the first time I've used the Plague Furnace, and I really enjoyed it. Clan Pestilens are one of my favourite parts of the Skaven, and yeah, I think this went very, very well. And despite being just dregs, they held on. Like, the valuable, important things are basically still here. They weren't completely wiped out. Interesting match overall. Hope you enjoyed it as well. And next time I'll be going back to the campaign map to see how all of these matches have affected the overall campaign. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe for more board games, card games, miniatures like this, and TTRPGs. And I will catch you later.